I always thought being the responsible one was something to be proud of. At 32, I had built a successful career as a software engineer, owned my home, and still made time to help my younger sister Amanda. Growing up, we were inseparable, and that bond continued into adulthood. For years I had been helping her and her fiancé Jackson financially, watching their debt to me grow. But nothing prepared me for that Thanksgiving dinner, when they laughed in my face about it. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button. If you have ever had family, take advantage of your generosity. My parents divorced when I was 14, and Amanda was 9. That experience shaped both of us in different ways. I became protective of my little sister, determined to make sure she always felt secure despite our broken home. Our parents tried their best, but the split household meant neither of them could always be there when needed. So I stepped up, helping Amanda with homework, making her lunch for school, and being the steady presence she could count on. As we grew older, our paths diverged significantly. I focused on academics, earning scholarships that helped me through college. Even then, I worked part-time jobs to cover additional expenses. My dedication paid off when I landed a position at TechSphere, a prestigious software company in Seattle. By 28, I had saved enough for a down payment on a modest house in a nice neighborhood. Nothing extravagant, but I was proud of what I had accomplished through hard work and careful financial planning. Amanda took a different route. She struggled academically but flourished socially. Her charismatic personality made her popular, but she never developed the discipline needed for long-term success. She dropped out of community college after the first semester, claiming it was not the right fit for her. Instead, she bounced between retail and restaurant jobs, never staying anywhere long enough to advance. The first time Amanda asked me for significant financial help was 5 years ago. She needed money for an apartment deposit after breaking up with a boyfriend she had been living with. The amount was $2,000, which was substantial but manageable for me at the time. "It is just until I get back on my feet, Nev," she promised, using her childhood nickname for me. "I will pay you back in a few months tops." Those few months turned into a year, then longer. The repayments never materialized, but the requests for help continued. A car repair here, a medical bill there. I kept telling myself that is what family does. They help each other through tough times. 2 years ago, Amanda met Jackson at the upscale bar, where she had been waitressing for a few months, her longest job to date. He was charming and confident, always dressed impeccably, despite apparently having limited funds. Amanda was immediately smitten. "He has these amazing business ideas. Neville," she gushed during one of our weekly coffee meetings. "He is going to start his own marketing consultancy. He already has potential clients lined up." I was skeptical, but tried to be supportive. When they decided to move in together 3 months later, they came to me for help with the security deposit and first month rent. Jackson assured me it was temporary. "I really appreciate this, man," he said with that winning smile that seemed to charm everyone. "Once my business takes off, I will not only pay you back, but take you on a vacation to thank you." Amanda is lucky to have such a generous brother. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that my sister had found someone who would bring stability to her life. So I wrote the check, ignoring the small voice of doubt in the back of my mind. For a while, things seemed promising. Jackson talked enthusiastically about client meetings and business partnerships. Amanda seemed happier than I had seen her in years. Our parents were impressed with her new boyfriend, particularly our father, who was taken with Jackson's stories about market trends and investment opportunities. "That young man is going places," Dad would say. "He reminds me of myself at that age." I began to wonder if my initial reservations had been unfair. Maybe Jackson really would turn things around for both of them. Maybe my sister had finally found her path to stability and success. That hopeful period did not last long. 6 months into their relationship, Amanda and Jackson announced they were moving to a more upscale apartment in a trendy neighborhood. The rent was nearly double what they had been paying. "We need to project the right image for Jackson clients," Amanda explained when I expressed concern about the cost. "First impressions are everything in the business world." I knew the area they were moving to. It was filled with artisan coffee shops, boutique clothing stores, and organic grocers, where a single apple cost $4. It was not a place for people trying to establish financial stability. "Are you sure you can afford this?" I asked carefully. "Your combined income from the bar and Jackson part-time work at the electronics store hardly covered your previous rent." Amanda rolled her eyes. "That is temporary. Jackson is about to sign a huge client. Plus, we found this amazing apartment at a special rate. We cannot pass it up." The special rate still required another loan from me for the security deposit, which was 3 times the monthly rent. Jackson assured me this would be the last time they needed help. It was not. Over the next several months, their requests increased in both frequency and amount. Their car needed repairs. Their credit card was maxed out. They needed new furniture to entertain potential business partners. Each request came with promises of imminent financial success and swift repayment. Meanwhile, I noticed troubling patterns on social media. Amanda posted photos of expensive dinners, designer clothes, with tags still attached, and weekend getaways to wine country. Jackson frequently shared images of high-end electronics and custom-tailored suits, always with captions about investing in yourself and dressing for the job you want. When I tried to discuss budgeting with Amanda, suggesting they might want to cut back on luxuries until they were more stable, she became defensive. "You sound just like Mom," she snapped, "always judging how I spend my money." "It is not judgment," I explained patiently. "But if you need to borrow money for rent, maybe shopping sprees are not the best idea right now." Those were sales, Neville. I actually saved money. And Jackson needs to look professional for his meetings. These conversations went nowhere. Amanda would get angry, I would back off to preserve the peace, and the cycle would continue. At a family dinner, our parents fawned over Jackson as he described his latest business ventures. I sat quietly, wondering if I was the only one who noticed that after nearly a year, his company still had no website, no business cards, not even a name. After that dinner, I sat down and calculated how much I had loaned them. The total shocked me: over $25,000 in 18 months, with not a single cent repaid. That amount represented most of what I had been saving for a much-needed kitchen renovation in my home. I decided it was time to get serious. I created a repayment plan that would allow them to pay back small amounts over time. Amanda reluctantly agreed when I presented it, but the first payment date came and went without any money. Then the second. Each time there was an excuse, a paycheck was delayed, an unexpected expense came up. They would definitely pay double next time. My resentment grew, but so did my guilt. She was my little sister. I had always protected her. Was I being too harsh? Too controlling? These questions kept me awake at night. Then came the engagement announcement. Jackson proposed with a glittering diamond ring that must have cost several $1,000s. I congratulated them sincerely, while wondering how they could afford such a ring when they could not pay their own rent. The engagement party was held at Castello, one of the most expensive restaurants in the city. Jackson's parents, who I was meeting for the first time, despite their 2-year relationship, seemed surprised when Amanda introduced me as her brother, who helped them out occasionally. During the party, I stepped outside for some air and overheard Jackson talking with a friend near the smoking area. They did not notice me. "Dude, how are you affording all this?" his friend asked. "This place is insane." Jackson laughed. "Amanda, brother is our personal ATM man. The guy is loaded and has a major savior complex. Flash him some gratitude, talk about business plans, and he whips out his checkbook every time." I felt physically ill. Was that really how they saw me? Was that how my sister saw me? I left the party early, claiming a headache. 2 weeks later, Amanda called with their biggest request, yet $15,000 for a deposit on a wedding venue. "It is the only date they have available next year," she explained excitedly. "We have to book now or wait another year." I agreed on one condition: a formal loan agreement signed and notarized. Amanda seemed annoyed, but acquiesced. When they came over to sign the documents, Jackson made several jokes about me being obsessed with money and acting like a banker instead of a brother. Amanda laughed along. "We are family Nev," she said, signing the paper with a dramatic flourish. "All this formality seems silly." "Family repays their debts," I replied quietly. As wedding planning proceeded, their spending escalated further. Amanda showed me photos of a $7,000 designer wedding dress. Jackson talked about a 3-week honeymoon in Bali, all while missing the first payment deadline on our formal loan agreement. Around this time, I began dating Julia, a financial analyst I met through a friend. She was level-headed and practical, and after hearing about my situation with Amanda and Jackson, she did not mince words. "They are using you," she said simply, "and they will continue as long as you allow it." Deep down, I knew she was right, but breaking the pattern seemed impossible. Then came the discovery that pushed me to the edge. I had been covering their rent through automatic payments to their landlord, an arrangement we set up after they received an eviction warning 6 months earlier. When the landlord called me about a noise complaint, he mentioned in passing that the payment covered rent and the additional fee for the new gaming system. Confused, I asked for clarification. Apparently, Jackson had worked out a deal with the landlord to purchase his high-end gaming system through an additional monthly payment added to the rent, which I was unknowingly paying. I confronted Amanda immediately. Her response floored me. "Why are you being so controlling?" she demanded. "So Jackson bought something nice for himself. He deserves it with how hard he is working." Working where I countered. "His business still has not materialized, and he quit the electronics store months ago. You are just jealous because I found happiness, and you have been single forever until recently. Not everything is about money, Neville." I was speechless. After everything I had done, this was how she viewed my concerns, as jealousy. Following Julia's advice, I decided not to engage further. Amanda and Jackson continued to ignore my messages about the missed loan payment, and weeks went by without contact. Part of me was relieved for the break, but I knew it was temporary. The holiday season was approaching, and with it, inevitable family gatherings. Thanksgiving arrived, and with it the confrontation that would change everything. My parents hosted at their home with extended family joining. Amanda and Jackson arrived late, making a grand entrance. Jackson wore a new designer watch that caught the light, as he gesticulated through stories about his latest business prospects. "We are talking serious expansion," he announced over turkey and stuffing. "I have investors practically begging to get in on the ground floor." My uncle, impressed, asked about their honeymoon plans. 3 weeks in Bali," Jackson said proudly. 5-star, all the way. Nothing but the best for my bride." "That sounds expensive," my aunt remarked. "You two must be doing well." There was an awkward pause before my mother changed the subject. "Speaking of the wedding, have you finalized the guest list yet?" The conversation continued, but I remained quiet, pushing food around my plate. Eventually, my father noticed my silence. "Everything okay, son? You have not said much." Before I could answer, Jackson interjected, probably calculating how much interest he can charge us. "On our next loan," he laughed loudly at his own joke. "Jackson," Amanda scolded playfully, clearly not actually bothered. "What Neville knows. I am just joking." Jackson continued, raising his wine glass in my direction. "Neville got us covered right, mister." "Moneybags," Amanda giggled. "He does love throwing money at us." "It is true," Jackson added, now addressing the whole table. "I have not had to work a regular job in months, thanks to his generosity. Quitting that electronics store was the best decision ever." My head snapped up. This was news to me. "You quit your job?" When Jackson waved dismissively. "Ages ago. Like 4 months or something. Had to focus on the business. The business that still has no clients." I asked, my voice tight. An uncomfortable silence fell over the table. Amanda shot me a warning look. "We have prospects," Jackson said defensively. "These things take time. Anyway, we are fine. We put the wedding venue deposit to good use." "What does that mean?" I asked, slowly. Amanda and Jackson exchanged glances. Then Jackson, oblivious to the tension, grinned widely. "We decided Bali could not wait until the honeymoon. Took a 2-week trip last month. Amazing place. Totally worth pushing the wedding back. The room seemed to spin. You used the venue deposit. The $15,000 I loaned you, specifically for the venue. We can get another venue, Amanda said quickly. One that does not require such a huge deposit. To my shock, several family members chuckled. My aunt patted my arm. They are young and in love, Neville. Remember what that was like? Jackson raised his glass again. To Neville, the best brother a girl could ask for. Always good for another loan. More laughter. Amanda joined in raising her glass as well. He pretends to be annoyed, but he loves helping us out. Right, big brother. I looked around the table at my family, all smiling as if this was just a charming quirk in our relationship, not a betrayal that cut to my core. Without a word, I placed my napkin on the table, stood up, and walked out. In my car parked on the quiet suburban street, I finally broke down. Tears of anger and hurt streamed down my face as I gripped the steering wheel. My phone buzzed repeatedly with messages from my mother asking what was wrong, but I could not bring myself to respond. Instead, I called Julia. Her calm voice centered me as I poured out everything that had happened. You have been more than generous, she said firmly. More than fair. More than any reasonable person would expect. It is time to take care of yourself now. In that moment, with the holiday lights twinkling in the neighbors' yards, I made a decision that would change everything. The next morning, while Amanda and Jackson were presumably sleeping off their Thanksgiving celebration, I was meeting with my financial advisor and a lawyer friend. Together we drafted a formal letter, outlining every loan, every payment, every broken promise, over the past 2 years. The total amount had reached just over $43,000. The letter stipulated that they had 30 days to respond with a viable repayment plan, or I would consider legal options. It was not a threat I made lightly, but I was done being taken advantage of. That same day, I created a detailed spreadsheet documenting every transaction with dates, amounts, and the purported purpose. Seeing it all laid out clinically in black and white strengthened my resolve. This was not about family loyalty anymore. This was about respect. When Amanda received the letter, her response was immediate and explosive. She called me 17 times in a row. When I finally answered, her voice was shrill with disbelief. Are you seriously threatening to sue your own sister? Over money? Money you offered to give us? I never offered to give you anything, I replied calmly. Every cent was a loan. You know that. Everyone helps family. That is what family does. Family does not take advantage of each other. Family does not laugh about exploiting their brother generosity. It was a joke, Neville God. When did you become so uptight? Jackson was just being funny. I am freezing all financial assistance effective immediately. That includes the automatic rent payments. There was a moment of stunned silence before she exploded again. You cannot do that. We will be evicted. That is not my problem anymore. You have jobs. You had money for Bali. Figure it out. I hung up as she was still yelling. My hands were shaking, but I felt a strange sense of relief wash over me. For the first time in years, I was standing up for myself. Over the next week, the pressure intensified. My parents called daily telling me I was destroying Amanda's happiness. Extended family members sent messages expressing their disappointment in me. Social media became a battlefield with thinly veiled posts from Amanda about toxic family members and true colors. Jackson was more direct in his approach. He called me at work, his voice low and threatening. You think you can just cut us off? I will make sure everyone in the family knows what a selfish, controlling person you really are. Amanda has been protecting your reputation for years. What reputation is that? I asked, genuinely curious. That you try to buy her love because you are too socially awkward to have real relationships. That you use money to control people. Everyone will know. I laughed, which clearly was not the reaction he expected. Go ahead. I am done caring what people think about this situation. 10 days after sending the letter, Amanda showed up at my house, unannounced, eyes red from crying. Julia was over, and I was grateful for her steadying presence. We got an eviction notice, Amanda said, voice breaking. We have 30 days to vacate. Please, Neville, just until we find somewhere cheaper. It took everything in me not to cave. I had prepared for this moment, rehearsing what I would say. I can help you create a budget. I can help you find affordable housing. I can even help you update your resume. But I will not give you any more money. How am I supposed to pay rent on a waitressing salary? You know how expensive this city is. The same way thousands of other people do. Roommates, smaller apartments, second jobs, fewer luxury purchases. She looked at me as if I had suggested she live on the moon. I cannot believe you are doing this to me, to us. I am not doing anything to you. I am simply stopping doing things for you. She left in tears. I almost ran after her, almost gave in. Julia squeezed my hand. She will be okay, she assured me. This might be the best thing for her in the long run. I hoped she was right. The following weeks were difficult, but illuminating. True to his word, Jackson tried to turn family against me. Some believed him, particularly those who had only heard their side of the story. I blocked them on social media and focused on self-care and my relationship with Julia, which had deepened through this ordeal. Surprisingly, several family members reached out privately to express support. My cousin Thomas revealed that Jackson had tried to borrow money from him too. My Aunt Martha, who had initially sided with Amanda, changed her tune after learning about the Bali trip funded by the venue deposit. Then came the news I had both dreaded and expected. Amanda and Jackson had been evicted from their apartment. The aftermath unfolded in ways I could not have predicted. Unable to afford another apartment in the city, Amanda and Jackson moved into his parents' basement. This came as a surprise to everyone, as Jackson had always claimed they were not close to his family. Their wedding was postponed indefinitely due to what Amanda vaguely referred to as venue issues on social media. The real reason became clear when Jackson's parents, who I met for coffee at their request, revealed he had been lying about his business ventures. There never was a marketing consultancy, his father admitted wearily. No investors, no clients, no prospects. We tried to warn Amanda, but she would not listen. We knew he was borrowing money from somewhere, his mother added. We had no idea it was all coming from you. They apologized profusely for their son's behavior and shared something that explained a lot. Jackson had a gambling problem that had begun in college. His business meetings were often poker games or trips to casinos in neighboring states. His parents had cut him off financially years ago after he had drained their emergency savings. Meanwhile, Amanda was forced to take a second job at a coffee shop to cover basic expenses. Her social media presence changed dramatically. Gone were the fancy dinners and designer clothes, replaced by posts about simple pleasures and new beginnings. 3 weeks after the eviction, I received a call from an unknown number. It was Amanda using a coworker phone because Jackson had taken hers during a fight. "You were right," she said, her voice small. "About everything. Jackson has been gambling away most of our money. He even sold my car without telling me to pay a debt. I did not know Neville. I swear I did not know. Would it have mattered if you did?" I asked gently. Her silence was answer enough. "I let him convince me that you were the problem," she continued. "That you were trying to control me through money. I believed him because it was easier than admitting we were taking advantage of you." A week later, Amanda and Jackson had a very public breakup. She posted a lengthy emotional statement about removing toxic people from her life and learning hard lessons. She did not mention me specifically, but her friends and family knew what had happened. Through our parents, I learned that Amanda had moved in with a coworker and was working both jobs to save money. She was also talking about returning to community college to pursue a degree in education, something she had mentioned wanting years ago before getting sidetracked. As for Jackson, he reluctantly accepted a position at his father's construction company. According to his parents, he was on a strict financial monitoring program and attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings as a condition of their continued support. In some ways, I felt vindicated. Everything I had suspected about Jackson had proven true. But there was no joy in it, only sadness for the pain my sister had experienced and the relationship we had lost. 4 months after that fateful Thanksgiving, Amanda texted asking if we could meet for coffee. I suggested a modest cafe near her new apartment, and she agreed. When she arrived, the change in her was immediately apparent. Gone was the designer wardrobe and perfectly styled hair. She looked simpler but somehow more authentic, more like the sister I had grown up with. I wanted to apologize properly, she said after we had settled with our drinks. Not just for the money, though. I am sorry about that, too. I am sorry for forgetting who we were to each other. For letting someone come between us. What happened with Jackson? I asked. She sighed. He is still with his parents. Still gambling, I think. Though he tries to hide it. We talk sometimes, but that chapter is closed. We spent 2 hours in that cafe rebuilding the foundation of our relationship. She showed me her class schedule for the upcoming semester and talked about her 5-year plan to become an elementary school teacher. There was a maturity in her eyes that had not been there before. I did not offer financial help, and remarkably, she did not ask for any. Instead, I helped her create a realistic budget that would allow her to work part-time once classes started. We talked about scholarships and financial aid options. I offered to help her study for exams when the time came. I might take you up on that, she said with a small smile. You were always better at school than me. As we were saying goodbye, she hugged me tightly. Thank you for not giving up on me, she whispered. Even when you cut me off, you were actually saving me. On the drive home, I reflected on the difficult journey of the past months. Setting boundaries had been one of the hardest things I had ever done, especially with someone I loved so deeply. But sometimes, real love means having the courage to say no, to let people face the consequences of their actions so they can grow. That evening, Julia and I celebrated our 6-month anniversary with a simple home-cooked meal. As we discussed our future together, I realized how much healthier this relationship was than any I had experienced before, including with my own family. Julia respected my boundaries and expected me to respect hers in return. In the end, cutting off Amanda and Jackson financially had not been about punishment, but about reclaiming my self-respect and helping my sister find her own strength. Money cannot buy genuine connection or personal growth. Those come from honesty, mutual respect, and sometimes from having the wisdom to withhold help when it becomes harmful. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members who took advantage of your generosity? Comment below and share your experience. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be struggling with similar family dynamics. Remember, sometimes the strongest thing you can do for someone you love is to stop enabling destructive behavior. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the courage to establish healthy boundaries in all your relationships.